In this video, I want to show you how you can use your presentation software and OBS to host a Bible trivia game show. Hey folks, AJ the CEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel, we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you've been with me for a minute and you enjoy the type of stuff that I do here on this channel, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com, where you can contribute as little as $1 a month. That will help us produce more videos, get more equipment to train media ministries all over the world, as well as contribute to get bigger and better giveaways that we give every time we hit a new milestone here on this channel. So for those who are interested, I want to thank you in advance. If you looked at one of my previous vlogs from last year, I talked about how I was trying to mix up what we were doing at church and do something a little bit more fun than a traditional Bible study. And I hosted a Bible trivia game show with a take on the Hot Ones kind of challenge that you see here on YouTube, and where we had a couple of teams challenged each other with Bible trivia. And we threw a little spice by letting people make up points for the questions they got wrong by eating hotter and hotter hot wings. Everybody kind of doubted it at first, but people had a blast when we actually did it. So what I want to do with everybody being locked down, and I just wanted to, just like when I started that, to do a little different mix. I wanted to do the same thing, but just do an online version of it. So I want to walk you through how I actually did it. But before, let me just show you what the finished product looked like. How many of y'all got that right? Come on, didn't see that many. I didn't see that many on that one. All right, let's go to the chat and let's see. We didn't have no answers on that one. All right, so let me show you just how simple that is to set up. So let's go ahead and cut over to the computer. All right, so I have just a blank, well, my old typical OBS. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and make a new scene selection to make this really easy. So let's come in here, new scene collection. I said selection, didn't I? Scene collection. So we come in here and we'll just call it Bible Trivia. So I'm going to use my webcam for this example, but you can change this in any way you want to. So for my very first scene, I am going to, let's rename this, and we're going to call it pregame. And inside of this, we're just going to have a little countdown timer. I'll use some background footage, and I'll just call this loop, pregame loop. And we want this to loop, obviously. We want this to close when we're done, and we can turn on acceleration if we want. All right, so I started with this little background video that I found online. Really cool. And I also have some background music. So this is just similar like to a hold music like you would do before you start your live stream. So media ministries, I do the exact same thing. I don't really mix it up. I just change the sources, and the premise is still the same, because if you can do a live stream for your church service, you can do this. So let's add some background music, and I'll say intro, well, let's do PG music. And let's crank that music down. Then I had a logo that I made, and I made this kind of transparent so I can move this anywhere. And let's just resize it. Put it right there in the corner. Let's lock those in place. And then we use one of our countdown timers that you can still get for free from my website. All right, now we don't loop this. We don't want to restart this. And we close it when we're done. Boom, let's resize it. All right, something like that. And we're gonna add a chroma key on it, get rid of all that green. And we can place this anywhere we want to. I'm gonna try and keep it in line with that white bar. So there's my pregame. Now for the live. Now I'm going to be doing everything inside of Worship Extreme, but this will work with any presentation software that you choose. PowerPoint, ProPresenter, Easy Worship, OpenLP, Media Shout, whatever you want to use, it will work with it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is start with my webcam. All right, so we got it here, and I am using my new Elgato key lights, which will make green screening and all that stuff super easy. And I need to reset this back to the defaults. So we're going to do custom, well, actually not the defaults, to custom, to 1080p. All right, and then we're going to hold Alt, and let's trim myself, and I guess I could scoot over so it makes this easier. So I'm right on my green screen. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is slide this over. Let's resize this to about right here. Lock it in place. Let's do a chroma key. And let's do a little tweaking. All right, we're good. My shirt is acting up just a little bit. Let's tweak that just a little bit. That's good. All right, so we got this here. Now, like I said, we're gonna be running this from our presentation software, and that's gonna do all the heavy lifting with this. So I'm just gonna add a display capture of monitor 2, which is what I'm on right now. So it's gonna look crazy right now, but we're gonna move this down so that I'm in front of it. So, because remember, I showed you that little clip of how we did it. All right. So now this is all I have to do for here, because everything else is going to be controlled from our presentation software, and that will quickly go away once we turn this on. Now let's make another scene. We're going to call it chat results. Now I did this in Facebook, which was doable, but honestly Vimeo or YouTube will actually be easier, and I think Twitch will work too, because you want to get it to where the chat box can pop out, and I'll show you how that works. So if I come over here and open up my church's YouTube page, and say we're going to come over here and set up a live stream, and I think I actually still have one open, so I think this will work. All right, so let's go to our videos, live. And yeah, let's go to our live control, and inside of here you're gonna have your chat. If you click over here, you can pop out the chat, not that, we can pop out the chat, and it gives us our chat box, but more importantly it gives us a URL. That's what's more important. So let's go ahead and copy that, and now let's minimize all this. Now inside of here we're gonna do a browser, and we're going to call this chat pop out. All right, so let's put the address that we just copied in here. Now I am doing in 1920 by 1080, so the height is 1080, and you want to play with the width. I think 800 will be fine. And boom, there's our chat box in all its glory. So we're good. So now what we want to do is copy over the stuff that we've already made. So let's go over here to the live. I'm gonna copy the webcam. Let's paste it in here as a reference. So it's already the size I need it to be. I might actually even make it a little bit bigger, because I want to be able to point over to the chat over there when I'm talking to people who are in the church. All right, let's lock that in place. And then we're also going to copy over the logo, which I did not do. So not copying, we're going to add our logo, and we're going to do this BT logo. Where did I put it? There we go. So there's our logo. So I'm going to set this right over my head, or actually I can put it right behind me. Something cool like that. And then let's put it right under the webcam. So it's going to be there. And let's bring the chat up in front of everything. So there we go. So that way everybody won't forget what we're on. Let's move this up here. And now let's lock them into place. All right, so believe it or not, that's really it. Now I didn't set the audio on my webcam. So let's do that real quick. We're gonna use custom audio and we're gonna use the webcam audio for this. So that way everything gets captured inside of here. All right, so we have our pre-game that's going on. We cut over to here, which is gonna be mainly everything is gonna be controlled inside of the presentation software of choice. And then we have our chat results when we're going to show the comments of people who are giving answers and who's winning and losing and stuff like that. All right, so now let's go ahead and open up Worship Extreme. Now I'm used an After Effects template to make all my stuff, so you don't have to do that. You can use just PowerPoint. So inside of here I have a playlist of all my questions and everything like that. And I have my starting logo that you saw me just use and all this other stuff. So again, everything is going to be handled inside of here. So again, when I first did this, I still did this in Worship Extreme, but I had just slides, PowerPoint slides, Canva slides, Google slides, whatever ones you want. Or I had just had a question. I counted it down for whatever amount of time I gave people to answer. Then I would cut over to slide number 2, which would be the answer. So you can do it anyway. Now in After Effects, I did this as a template where it holds it for 30 seconds and has a bar, has music behind it as well too, to give it a kind of a tense type of feeling, since everybody's going to be watching online and you can hear the music change to where you can tell, okay, I'm getting ready to run out of time. And then it cuts over to the answer. So it saved me from having to do slides. But again, you just can make a slide for all your questions and a slide for the answers. Works the same way. So if I bring this over here and I'm gonna turn on my presentation software, my screen's gonna go black. And then I just come over here and say, bring up my logo, and see this is the same logo that I had. This is where I cut over. I would tell everybody, hey, these are the rules, blah, 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 blah. And then, hey, let's get started. Now I click on another slide that has an intro video that's kind of cool for people to see. Make it all fancy, got theme music and all this other stuff, because you want this to be exciting for the people who are watching. All right, and then this goes into the question mode. So now if I open up OBS, this would be the screen that I'll be on. So what I'm going to do is go from my recording and we're going to cut over to the recording of OBS so everybody can see how this would work. All right, so we'll be starting here. This will be our countdown. Say the countdown is over. Now I am now in here and I will be now controlling everything through Worship Extreme. So if I came over here, I would do my little logo, and this is what everybody would see. This is where I announce what's going on, folks. AJ here with the Media Ministry. Thank you for joining us here on Bible Trivia, blah, 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 all this other stuff like that. So, and then I would say, hey, let's give us a little intro here. Boom. Now everybody can hear all the music that goes on. So really cool, really interactive. And it's like, hey, you know, you can cut over. And when you're explaining the rules, that's over, and I'll say, hey, so what we're going to do is when you answer a question, put it in the chat, because I can come over here and now we can see everybody over here who's putting your answers in. It's going to be a fun game. Get everybody involved in your house to answer the questions. You got 30 seconds. If you got enough time to look it up in the Bible, you can. This is all meant to be fun and to test how much you know. So, all right. So is everybody ready? All right, let's go. So I come over here to live and question number 1. I click on the slide, and here is the presentation of what I got in After Effects, where you'll see pretty soon, well, I'm pointing the wrong way, right here is going to be a little bar that's going out for 30 seconds. And now I'm messing with people like, come on, y'all should know this answer, blah, blah, blah. Just really having some dialogue and working on the chat, because at the same time, you're showing a habit for your media ministry and everybody online how to chat and interact. Boom, there's your answer. All right, guys, let's see how many people got it right. Now I cut over to the scene with the chat, and then I would just read through the chat of whoever answering and be like, oh, Charles got the right answer. Yay. Oh, come on, Rakira. You got to be quicker than that. And, just, messing with people and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. And I did 5 questions with 5 rounds, so a total of 25 questions. And that was about it. So, really cool. I hope everybody would have fun with it. Everybody, when I did do it, they enjoyed it just like they enjoyed it when we did it in real life. So maybe I might call it when we get back, Bible trivia IRL in real life, and then we have Bible trivia online edition. So hopefully that made sense and I didn't confuse y'all when I did that. And that was just something that I took the same premise of how we live stream, and I just changed the sources and the material in it to make it into a fun interactive game for our church. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, or please send your questions to questions@ajhomes.com, because we're getting a whole lot of comments and it's kind of hard for me to keep up with them. So leave them in this video, or send an email if you have any other questions. And that's about it. Now, outside of all the events that's going on, if you've done any type of fun stuff like this, interacting virtually with your church, your congregation, please leave it in the comments. I like to know, and I'm always in a learning mode to try and learn some new things and some fun, cool stuff that we can implement in our media ministry. So if you like this type of content, I'd appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. And again, if you like this type of content and you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com. The link is at the description, or it's just patreon.com/AJaytheCEO. So thank you so much, folks, and we will see you on the next video. Later.